you so much for creating time. Thank you for the heart to impact. Thank you for volunteering to do this for others. Your reward is sure. Thank you. Over to you.
Thank you. So, as I said, we were on this place. We said, clarify your vision, but be agile with it. So, I was talking about you being flexible. I put a framework here, which I said vision, strategy, system, consistency, and this part, the most important one, repeat. So, as I said, this conversation we are having today is just one part of it. Your ability to do the things that you would need every day is far more important than this conversation we are having. Okay, so as we can all agree, money is a common denominator for most people's definition of success. If you want to be a preacher, you sure would need money. You want to be a successful writer, you would need money. You want to be a content creator, you would need money. You want to be a business analyst, a data analyst, you will need money. Money is an important commodity. And for many of us who are gearing up to get married, especially as women, please, I beg you, forget what the internet says. The realities are far different. Have your money. It doesn't mean, oh, because you have your money now, you can do and undo whatever you want to do. Have your money, be humble. But what I want to tell you is, how do you get that money? Is what we are here to discuss. You can either make that money either from your career or from your business. Those are like the two broad categories in which you would make that money from. As I said, you have to have a vision. Where do you want to see yourself? What do you desire? Have a vision. I was telling a story about when I was growing up and how our environments can potentially limit how far we dream. And I was telling you about a Face Me I Face You apartments that were in front of us, and it was filled with Danfo drivers and conductors. And right next to the house that was in front of us, the house adjacent to us, was a woman called Iyakodri. She sells bread. She sells this agege bread there. And here I was, a little boy who had to go to school every day. I thought school was difficult. I thought, the funny thing is, at some point in life, I thought common entrance was the worst thing, that was the most difficult thing I would come across. Then, after common entrance, I thought JAMB was the most difficult thing I would ever come across. JAMB and WAEC would be the most difficult thing. And after I did JAMB and WAEC, I thought my 100 level exams, I thought my 500 level exam would be the most, and I still went ahead, went to go and do masters 2 times again. And after doing all of that, I didn't know life would still be this difficult. But the important thing is, regardless of the difficulty, you have to show up every day, whether you are happy or not. You will show up. And when you show up, it doesn't mean that, oh, every day is going to be, your energy is going to be 100%. No. Even if the day your energy is 10%, you will go there and you will go and show up. For example, if you have, like, let's say you want to lose weight, or you have body goals, or you are really into fitness, right? There's a common saying I go by: there's no bad workout. The only bad workout is a workout that never happened. Let me translate it to you. So, if I go to the gym and let's say I spent 2 hours there, but I only did 2 exercises because I'm feeling lazy that day. So doing 2 exercises within 2 hours is not the best use of time, right? But the fact that you went to that gym and you did 2 exercises, it is 2 against 0, because if you had not gone there at all, that exercise would not even have happened. So even though you had a bad workout day, it was still a good workout day. Okay, so back to my story about how our environments can limit our dreams. So then I used to think, oh, I was going to school every day. I came from the kind of home that education was highly valued. You must go to school. And I was like, this school thing. I will see a Quadri every morning. She's just there putting bread inside nylon. I'm like, I want to be like Iya Quadri. She does not have to worry about going to school every day. That was what I thought. I will see the Danfo drivers. They will carry their bus, and the conductors will be hanging on buses. They looked really cool to me, and for me, I wanted to be a conductor. Because guess what? That's the most I could see at the time as a little boy. And we can only see, sometimes we can only dream as far as we are able to see. So when I say see, sometimes it might be maybe by virtue of something, a conference, something that's like this kind of conversation. Maybe, oh, I inspired you and you are able to dream. You're like, oh, I think I like this person. I want to really be able to do more than them. Or maybe by a movie you watch. But I think most times it's sometimes difficult to be able to dream what you have not seen. So, back to our conversation about you have to have a vision. You have to imagine yourself, oh, I'm successful in my marriage, I'm successful in my career, I'm successful in my business. Being somebody that you want to be like first, no matter how small it is, pin something, a picture in your head of what you want to be. Don't go and be, and also the person you pin or the person you aspire to be, or that's your inspiration that you are working towards, does not have to be permanent in life. It can change when you think like, oh, I've surpassed this, or my vision or the things I want out of life has also changed. So what I'm saying to you is, pin, you have like a vision of what you want. Look, if you go to Ikoyi, think about, oh, I want to be living in one of the houses on Glover Street with my husband and my children, having this thing, blah blah blah. Dream it. But here is one thing I have a problem with. It's one thing to have a dream. It's another thing to walk the dream. The part where you walk the dream is where you show up consistently. Things don't just happen by chance. You create your chances. So what do I mean? There is something for many. I will believe many of us are Christians on this call, or we are believers of one faith or another. The things that we would call that God will bless us with, or the grace that God will bestow upon us, we kind of have to create an environment for it. We have to create an environment. We have to increase our chances. So when you show up consistently, what are you doing? You are creating your chances. Like, you are making the chance, the grace, the blessing to most likely land on you. That's what you are doing most times. I'm not saying, so people, you sometimes you can do everything, blah blah blah, but things might not work out as much as you want. But what I can tell you is that if you did not do it, nothing would work out. You can do it. Maybe you can put in 10, you get a result of 2. But I can tell you, if you did 0, you would not get anything. That's something that is almost certain. So the whole essence of what I'm talking about is dream about what you want. Like, not, I don't want to use dream. Don't be carried away by the term dream. Like, envision what you want. But beyond envisioning what you want, be willing to do the things that you want. So when we talk about vision, oh, you have had that picture. The person I want to be like is Ibukun Awoshika, or I want to be like Folake Shoeton, or I want to be like Mrs. Adesina. Have that person first. Okay, what does Mrs. Adesina do? Okay, this is what Mrs. Adesina do. You don't necessarily have to do what Mrs. Adesina does, but what does Mrs. Adesina do that makes her successful? Oh, she's really hardworking. She does XYZ. Even if it is 10 midnight, 10 in the night, she's going to do this. She's still going to show up for her work. Then if you as a person, you have some job you are doing, then you should also show up. You should be consistent. You should define how you want to hit your dream. The strategy is a big word. Strategy is just how are we going to do this thing. That's what strategy simply means. I'll tell you a funny story about this word strategy. I remember then I worked 9 to 5 and I helped my mom manage her business. We have like a small family business that we kind of we distribute fast moving consumer goods. And one time, every year in Ikeja Electric, we sat down and we had what we called, most organizations do it. They put you in a very nice hotel for like 2 days, 1 week, depending on how rich your organization is. And you are like in a maybe like a Radisson Blue, all paid by your office. You guys are there to come and do what we call a strategy session. So we are going to let's say we are in 2025 now. We are going to define the strategies we are going to use to scale our business for 2026. So what are the things that we are going to do to ensure that we are able to have competitive edge? You will go and discuss that for 2 days, for 3 days, for 1 week. Strategy. But strategy is just a big word, a big corporate word people used to feel important. It's just how are we going to do this? And me, what I did was most times the things I learned from the corporate space, I applied them in my personal life. I applied them in my mom's business to ensure that the things that they did in corporate space that made them look like, oh, they are very organized. I applied the same thing. Oh, they are using technology. I applied technology in our business. I deployed IT solutions to be able to track all our inventories. But one thing that was profound is one day I was talking to a friend and he was telling me about the story about of the colonial times in Nigeria. How when the Brits were trying to build the railways, they found it hard to get workers. They found it hard to get workers to come and work every day because the British people wanted to what's it called? They wanted them to kind of what's it called? They wanted to pay them in salaries monthly. But most traditional Nigerian men in the days were not used to salary. Many of them were farmers and they were used to what I do that day is what I eat that day. And if I'm not feeling up to doing it tomorrow, I'm fine with it. So eventually, long story short, the Brits discovered this, and in order to get people to come and work on the railway so that they could build the railways on time, they had to implement a daily pay wage. And the moment they did that, every day they got surplus of workers to work on the railway. What does this? So this friend told me this, and I was like, in our business, we were looking for, we were having issues with our drivers. You hire a truck driver today, he's doing something else tomorrow, you're trying to put them on salary, it was not working. So I told my mom, you know what we are going to do? Let's do this. If the amount we pay a driver monthly is 100,000, let's divide how many trips does a driver take a month? Oh, 4 trips. Let's divide 100,000 by 4. Then we give them as daily. We'll just tell them, oh, this is your trip allowance. When we did this thing, for the first time we had a driver stay for I think 4 years. It has never happened. In a year we can hire like 5 drivers. The guy stayed for 4 years. At some point when business was not moving well, he's the one that will come and oga báwo ni lord trip learning is ginger to go for the next trip because he wants money. And that simple change that we implemented gave us stability to have a long-term driver. That's what we do. It was just strategy. If you go and sit down in a boardroom, they'll say strategy. That's something as simple as a strategy. So you have to also implement strategies in your life. Generally, like depending on what you want to do. You want to be a content creator. You have to create video. Start first. Oh, and also recognize where you are at. You are starting off. Don't set over ambitious targets. You want to be a content creator. I'm going to post one video a week, once a week. That's all. You self, when you see that 1,000 likes, that is organic. I'm not saying the one you went to go and buy you. You will not know when you start doing 2 videos a week by yourself if you genuinely want better for yourself. So what I'm saying is, whichever strategy you choose, let it be laced with consistency. I want to change careers. What do I want to do? And I would like to mention to people on this call, by the grace of God, I've been able to change my career at least 4 times. 4 times. And I'm not even talking about, like, I studied something else in the university. I'm doing something totally different today, far from where I started from. And I'm going to talk about it as we go through this conversation. So you must get at it. And trust me, as a woman, trust me, if you carry something, no man can come beside you and be asking you questions like, what do you bring to the table? I'm not saying you don't have to be disrespectful or to demean institutions of marriage or the society because you are a successful woman, right? But I'm telling you, if you are successful as a woman and it is laced with it is not laced with pride, you would be better for it. Generally, if you are a man and you are successful in life, you are better for it. So back to the conversation, you have to create, you have your vision, your strategy is, I think, the number one thing that should be in whatever strategy you want to do. It should be consistency. You want to be a data analyst, it's very simple. Go and pick a course on YouTube, do it. Many of us, we have data today. Once you do it, the next thing is create a system. Like, system, very simple. Every day, I want to spend 1 hour of my day learning this thing. After I have done, I must spend 1 hour every day applying to jobs. If you're applying to jobs, I once sent over 500 resumes when I was looking for a job, sometimes last year. It was a difficult process, but guess what? If I didn't send the resume, how would God bless me with a job? So as I said, if you don't do something, your chance is 0. If you do it, your chance is the number of times you did it times the number of times you did it. So no matter what you do, you have to be consistent. Whatever strategy you employ in life, consistency must be laced in it. Have a vision. So write your mission statement. What do you, as I said, you want to have, imagine yourself that, what I dream about is I want to live in a penthouse in New York. Your dream is valid, but you must put in the work to achieve that dream. I don't know if we ever hear the terms of, what's it called? Reach for the stars, but just in case you don't hit the stars, you might land on the moon. The moon is way higher than you would ever think. An airplane is 33,000 feet. The moon is, I don't know, probably 6 times, 10 times that amount. Not to talk about the stars. But I say all of this to say that if you have an ambition, even if it is a very crazy one, an astronomical ambition, if you really put in the work for that ambition, what I can tell you is that you would not be where you are. So when you have your 3-year plan, your 4-year plan, that's fine. But also what you do every day, every year, is what will determine whether you will hit that 3-year plan or that 5-year plan or not. So once upon a time, I used to have the habit of, I write task a lot on my book, in my journal. I write most things I want to do. Even if I need to call someone, right, I write in the call, okay, I want to call this person, I want to talk about this, I want to talk about that, I want to talk about this, because I sometimes don't want to put everything to waste. Like, I want to do this, I sometimes wake up on Monday morning, I write out the things I want to do. But guess what? Sometimes I go about my day and I'm not even doing the things I wrote out that I wanted to do. But those things that I did that are also very important, I end up writing it on my list so that I kind of take an account of what I did that day. So typically, what I used to do every year, I write in my book. There was a time, for if you care to know on the call, there was a time that 1 million naira savings was my target. There was a time in my life that 1 million naira savings was a target for me. And I would try. I remember maybe probably the first year I said I wanted to do a 1 million naira savings in my account. Maybe I ended up at 200,000. But guess what? 1 million minus 200,000 will put you at what? 800,000, right? Even though I wish to do it in 1 year, I'm still better off that I started at all. And don't take this as an excuse as, oh, I tried, or this thing. You just want to get a participation medal. You do have to be accountable for yourself to say, you know what? Oh, true talk, we did not hit this target. We go again next time, whether next week, next. But my point to you is that once upon a time, I used to write out every year. I'll say, this year, I'm going to write this exam. I'm going to write my PMP. I'll write my IELTS. I want to do my MBA. I write those things down. The truth is, I might write like 6-10 things down. I write, oh, I want to take my fitness serious. I want to be closer to God. I write those things down. And I might not be able to meet all of those things, but those things, the fact that I documented them, are like, sometimes when you write things down, you're literally writing them in, you're engraving them into your existence. When you write things down, you're engraving them into your existence. So there were times where I wrote things down, I did not even meet it. There were times I wrote things down, it was 3 years down the line, I eventually hit that target. But the important thing was that I engraved those things in my subconscious, that these things, I want them, and I want them to, those are like my definition of success for that year. So in everything that you do, have a vision, have how you want to do it, be consistent with how you do it, and repeat. Very important, repeat. There's something in the project management world we call rinse and repeat. So you take a process, you say, we do this process, it's successful, we rinse and repeat. In the world of software development, people make jokes and say, if it's not broken, don't fix it. If it's working, don't fix it. Yes. So I encourage us, before I leave this slide, have a 2-year plan, have a 3-year plan. What do you want to do? You want to get married in 3 years, it's not bad. Write it down. You want to have this business, you want to change career, write it down. But beyond writing it down, you must walk the walk. All right, so I go to the next slide, and here typically we talk about skills, right? Transferable skills. What do we mean by transferable skills? Skills that you can transfer from one career to the other. You can transfer from one you can use it in multiple places. That's what we talk about, transferable skills. So, and there's something I say, I probably had a LinkedIn post sometimes ago where I said people are the new currency. AI will make your life easier, AI will do this for you, AI will do that for you, but people will always outlive AI. So you have to build meaningful relationships. You have to build relationships that they are valuable. You don't have to join the crowd. You don't have to have thousands of friends. You don't have to have hundreds of friends. You don't have to have 10 friends. You probably have to have two friends. You can have three friends. But those three friends, you should know that, oh, these people, they are people that I can lean on. They are like, they are quality over quantity. For example, your network is your net worth. If you have friends that all of them have a minimum operating balance of, let's say, 10 million naira, do you know what that means for you as a person? You would not be operating in 1 million naira and think you would have five friends that are operating in 10 million naira. Then there's something probably wrong in that equation. You can be operating in 6 million naira and your friends are operating in 10 million. It's still a reasonable match. But what am I saying? Iron sharpeneth iron. If you are in a high class friend, you would want to do high class things, right? So, but my point is, people are the new currency. If you have valuable 10 friends that can give you 1 million naira, you would automatically have 10 million naira to your current worth to be able to do whatever you want to do and be able to pay them back or whatever. If you get what I mean. So, it's not only friends that it's good to have. All your friends don't have, your friends don't have to always be serious all the time. You guys can chit chat about anything and everything, but you should always know that my friends are like people that can convey me, that can help me get to my preferred destination. So I was talking about building transferable skills, digital literacy, and adaptability. For example, we are in the age of AI, and I was thinking yesterday that after AI, what's the next technology that would come? Just in case we forget, I think during COVID, and I think in 2021 as well, we're talking about, I think, things about Web3 were the order of the day. You talk about not just cryptocurrency, we are talking about the entire concept of blockchain. We are talking about, I forget, there was this digital art that was raining that time, and they tell you to come and buy one monkey, blah blah blah. All of those things faded away, and NFT, non-fungible tokens, those were the things that were raining then. I remember then feeling left out, and I was like, oh, how do I partake in this NFT rave? I need to secure my future. I need to secure the future of my children. How am I going to do this thing? Like, people are talking about NFT and Bitcoin, blah blah blah. And I'll tell you what, I knew about Bitcoin sometimes, at least I knew about Bitcoin as way back as 2014, but I never participated. And eventually, Bitcoin hit all the numbers that it was going to hit, and I'm like, you know what? I guess I will have better luck at something else next time. But what I'm trying to say is that digital literacy, we live in a world of digital technology. We have to be abreast with technology. You must, it's like you must be able to. I think before, when you are job hunting, you will say you can use Excel or something, or those things are not needed anymore. Like, it's like you saying you can use Excel is not an achievement anymore. Like, it's a no-brainer. Like, you can use Excel, you can use PowerPoint, you can use Microsoft Office. Those things are expected. You have to be able to, not just, oh, I can write something on Excel. You should be able to write real formulas. You should be able to write formulas, be able to write DAX in Power BI or whatever. But I say all of this to say that you must be conversant with technology. You must be tech savvy in the world today. It's not negotiable anymore. You must be adapting to new tools. So let me tell you, maybe I will say a secret. Um, I used to have a job back then, or a role back then, where it was more like something that gave me access. Like, I worked with the CEO directly then, and I remember when ChatGPT came out. I was probably one of the early adopters, and then I would be told to prepare a report, and I was using ChatGPT. I'm not talking about now that you can almost tell that everything is written with AI or enhanced with AI. I'm talking about maybe probably late 2021 is when I'm talking about. And I was using ChatGPT. I didn't even tell people about it. It was just me and a buddy of mine were using ChatGPT, and it was fantastic. People read the things I wrote, the reports. I wrote, like, oh, this is great. I just laugh in my mind, like, oh, really? But that's like how sometimes when you are an early adopter of technology can give you competitive edge. So my point is digital literacy. Be conversant with your, not just you are using WhatsApp, like you are using all those things that you are using, all those social media tools that you are using. Please, by all means, use it to advance yourself. You are doing something, post about it. Don't be ashamed. And these things I'm telling you, I'm not, as I said at the beginning of this conversation, I'm not sitting here telling you things because I am an expert about it. It's because I have made mistakes, or I probably have, I don't want to call them regrets, but I have things that I would have, oh, maybe I should have done it this way. Like, for example, a very, very reserved person internally. Like, I'm not usually the first person to talk to people and all of that. But when it comes to social media, I really limit what I put, the kind of content or whatever I put out there. But I feel like in doing that, I've also limited the things I could have advertised about myself, or some of the potentials I could have shown about myself. I see people who don't even know half of what I know, and they are all over the place on social media. It's simply because they did not keep quiet. They opened their mouth and they were consistent in making noise about the little they knew. So back to the story. Whatever tool you find yourself use, you want to be a content creator, you want to be making soap, you want to advance your career, you have to adopt technology. It would make your life easier. The other part of it is, I go to the communication and storytelling. Storytelling is something that I learned later in my career. You have to tell stories with everything you do. Everything we do in this world has some level of storytelling in it. So as I said, I used to work with the CEO back then. I dealt with things like financial reports. I did like board presentations, blah blah blah, and all of those good stuff. And I remember then we were not performing well as an organization. And now, for me, I'm like, typically my default self is I'm straightforward, like, oh, straight to the point. This is it. No cutting corners. This is what it is. Blah blah blah. I just go straight and say it as it is. But I learned something amongst while I was in corporate performance, and it was the concept of storytelling, and how even if it is a bad news, we can say it in a subtle way. So then when we had our presentation, instead of we going straight out to say, oh, this quarter we didn't meet our target, blah blah blah, we come out and say the things that we did well, or the things that we thought that we did well. Because even though we know any investor, all they care about is what they mostly care about is the outcome, the bottom line, the finance. And as we can agree on this call, whatever your definition of success is, most times they all have a common denominator, which is money, which is money essentially. So we talk about something. Let's say, for example, we in our health and safety report, somebody died. Instead of us going outrightly to say someone died, we say, compared to last month, we had an improvement in our health safety and environment index, because we're able to prevent 100 near misses, but unfortunately we lost one staff member. So by the time you write that, so sometimes if a board member is reading it, if they have a short attention span, they might not even get to the last bit of the statement to see where you reported that somebody died. So that's how stories are being told. Everything you hear in this world is spun on a narrative. Most things you hear in the world today is spun on a narrative. If you want to tell people about yourself, about whatever, you have to be able to, like, if you improve your ability to tell stories, you would be able to win a lot of people's hearts. If you tell stories that are interesting, you would win a lot of people's hearts. So, transferable skills like communication, being able to tell stories about anything, being able to, don't just go and tell long stories, like you're saying things that are concise but it keeps people engaging. It's very, like, it's a priceless skill, storytelling. I don't know, there is this podcast I sometimes listen to. I forget his name now. I think he goes by the name Neil, but the name of the podcast is called Star Talk. And he's quite a famous scientist. And trust me, he's the kind of person that if you have the most complex concept you've ever, any concept you've ever imagined, Neil would explain it to you um like a 3 year old, and you would understand it. He's that good. If you notice world leaders, one of the things they have in common is that they are good orators. One of the reasons why Obama was ahead was because he was a good orator. He speaks eloquently, he knows how to talk to people. That's one of the major skills Barack Obama has. If you compare amongst many other things, right? If you look at Nigeria, for example, let's talk about politics for a little bit. One of the things that sometimes we lack as a country or from the leadership end is quality engagement of the citizens. One of the things Buhari in his administration lacked, especially at the beginning, was the fact that he wasn't communicating to the citizens. He was just doing his thing, da, 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 and he was not telling people anything. But if you remember during Goodluck Jonathan's time and when Dora Akunyili was leading, I think, Ministry of Information, and they were doing some of the projects like Good People, Great Nation. There was this whole rebranding of Nigeria, blah blah blah. Maybe some of you might remember, but I say all of this to tell you that that's ways in which sometimes even the way you see governments, people spin narratives, people communicate, people tell stories. If you continue to tell, so let's take further, for example, the reason why a lot of people know about the US military globally is not only because the US military is great, it's because the US military makes concerted efforts to tell stories by all the Hollywood movies you see. Some of the Hollywood movies you see that it looks like the US military was heroic was not completely the case in real life. Some of them they suffered great losses. So, communication is key. How you present yourself, how you sell yourself, how you sell what you're saying in an engaging way is very key. So, if you are able to communicate, to gain yourself visibility, to communicate your ideas clearly, to craft compelling stories to the people that you want them to hear, it would go a long way for you. It's as I said, it's a it's an invaluable skill. Then we talk about strategic thinking. As I said, strategy, fancy word, just think about it. Strategy is just the how are we going to do this thing. Strategic thinking and problem solving. If you are the kind of person that you are you are you are problem led, like, oh, if there's a word, but you are the kind of person that you try to look, because your ability to solve people's problems is something that will continue to earn you money. I heard a weird sound now. Oh, we have 15 minutes more. Your ability to to solve people's problem is something that will earn you money. I'm going to move very quickly now, and we talk about emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence, I'm sure many of us are we are familiar with. Emotional intelligence is understanding your own emotion and recognizing how to manage other people's emotion. So first, before you go and be saying, "Oh, I'm emotionally intelligent," you have to understand your own emotions as well. So Um, the next thing that I would say is you have to. This picture here is. I couldn't find a picture that I will use for networking, so I put a picture of my wife and I. But anyhow, your next opportunity. You're talking about networking. You have to be able to connect with people. So this thing, I wanted to touch on this topic very much. As I said, I'm highly introverted. I don't talk to people so much. But um one of the things I set out to do last week is whenever I enter a room, I'm making it a point of duty to say hi to people in a bright way. Not just tell them hi. I want to really tell you hi that I'm excited about it. I want to really tell you good morning in a way that I'm excited about it. Because I'm a very shy person. Sometimes I try to just avoid communication with people generally, especially when we see physically. I'm just like, I want to be on my, except when you really get to know me and we talk and I kind of um blossom, and you get, oh, this guy is like, whatever. I'm saying, or like, network with people. Remember I said people is the new currency. People would help you do everything you want to do, whether your subordinates, your guy, you need people. Whether in your church, whether in your community, you need people. You cannot sell what you are doing to AI. It's human beings that will buy it from you. You cannot sell it to AI. It's human beings that will buy it from you. So network, be with people, know people, like get to be familiar with people genuinely. People, and each time when we talk about networking as well, we are talking about, oh, you have to network upward. Not all the time. Sometimes you network with your peers that are serious. That if five of us now that we are serious about life, we are networking, we are going together. Because what? If Favor is head of HR in one company, Favor can bring Ife in. Yes, that's how people get hired by referrals. So it doesn't have to be, oh, I have to go and know one person, I have to be friends with one person up there. You can network even downwards. Some of you that are here today are leaders of tomorrow. You are going to do fantastic things. I might have to come and meet them. Oh, Favor, I think we spoke one time. Or if I think we spoke one time. And that's it. So you can network with your peers, you can network horizontally, you can network vertically, you can network anyhow. But I think most times when we talk about networking, we are only talking about upward. Look at people that have talents, potentials, that are your peers. So just a quick um recap. Clarify your vision, build transferable skills, network with intention, think like a business owner. It's a business owner, you're thinking about strategy, problem, and people. Then the last part of it is, I think I missed this part, is relationship with God, faith. Let me tell you something. I don't think as myself as a very special person. I just think that God has been on my side a lot of the times. But the thing we discussed previously, that God's blessing can only be multiplied by the amount of chances that you create. If you go to midday service, you go to Sunday service, ìtura ọlọ́jọ́ mẹ́ta, if you don't do the true things that God has given you power to do, you are diminishing the work of God. Work hard, like do things that you believe in, the right things. I've seen a lot of billionaires in what they say, oh, how did you become a billionaire? They just tell them, people say, well, because wrong turn here, right turn there, you don't even, sometimes you are going through life, is not really by your making, but what you can do is you can control the kind of things that probably can come your way. If you are, for example, um if you are a guy now, you have a lot of friends that are smoking weed, you would end up smoking weed very soon. If you have friends that are doing drugs, you will end up doing drugs very soon. One of the things that changed my career in life was when earlier in my career, I had the opportunity to be in the midst of some very young talented people like me at the time, and I saw the things that they were doing. This person will say, Chijioke will say, oh, I've done this certification. I'm like, don't do that certification. Chijioke no get where now. I didn't even know what the certification is for, what they will use it for in life. Oh, I went to go and do it. But some of those things I did were the basis in which I was able to change my career when I said I wanted to change. So I told you guys I was going to talk about how I've been able to change careers. So I did remote sensing and geography as my first degree in the university. And as I would guess, many of you don't know what that is. So what happened? I was looking for jobs that can employ me in that in Nigeria. I only know about one federal parastatal in Abuja that could employ me at the time. But long story short, I graduated with a good grade. I graduated with a 2-1 from school, and that kind of gave me, at least it gave me an edge. Don't also listen to people who tell you school is a scam, because anything you find your hand doing, do it well. Don't go and say, if it is school you are doing now, do that school well first, because you will regret it if you did not do it well. Anyhow, by that, eventually I got into, I worked for a little bit with a private firm. Then I joined the Ikeja Electric, and that was when I met these young people, very talented, blah blah blah, and they were doing. So I joined in Ikeja Electric as a GIS officer, Geographic Information Systems. But I started doing this certification, that certification. Eventually, I saw that the opportunities in GIS were not so many for me in the future. Even how many job adverts in GIS was I seeing in a year? So I was looking to become a product manager. But eventually, I couldn't get. No, I was looking to become a business analyst. Then I landed a role internally, and I became a corporate performance / business analyst. Then I did that for a little bit. Then eventually, because of the job I was doing at corporate performance, I started interfacing with people in IT so much that I got interested in IT. Then that was when I eventually pivoted into IT, and I started doing product management. I did product management for a while, and in the matter of, I would say in the space of a year and a half, I probably tripled my salary. And I did product management until I got to Canada, and currently I'm a project manager. And it's in as much as I recognize that God has been gracious to me in life, one thing I can also say to you is that I have also in my little ways tried to put in the efforts every time, every step of the way. So please, by all means, whatever system you are building that you repeat every day, whether you want to read every day, you want to work towards it, you want to work towards a certification, you want to work towards a particular goal, fitness, content creator, whatever it is, you must be resilient. This thing is not going well, I go still, we died here. But in your quest that we died here doesn't mean that you should not be employing new strategy. But that's goal. What I'm saying is that goal, we died here, we must reach it. You hear of terms like get rich or die trying. You must be focused on that career, on that business. How do we earn our next customer? How do we build our next product that our customers will buy? You must. It's a must. You must be dedicated to it. The same way a priest of God is dedicated to the priesthood, you must be dedicated to the process. So, you have to scale your strategies for life. For you, clear vision, build transferable skills, network with intention, not anyhow friends of which Asoebi are we going to wear. Clothes does not use to finish. Think like a business owner. Protect your faith. God is in the center of everything that you do. God is in it. God is not a wicked God. If you work hard, he's going to reward you, for sure. So growth isn't as accidental, it is designed. As I said, it is designed. You increase your chance by that thing that you are doing. Start where you are at. I want to be doing this, I don't have this thing. There are free courses on YouTube that you can learn from. YouTube is free of anything. Oh, I want to be editing videos, CapCut is free. I edited my second video on CapCut this morning. I spent like 2 hours doing it, but I did it myself. I was so proud of myself. I couldn't sleep at night. I'm like, oh, I recorded a couple of videos when I went to do some fun activities on Saturday, I'm like, okay, let me put it together. I did the video and I was more than proud of myself. It wasn't the best. I'm probably sure you've seen better, but yeah. So success is compounding. There is no, forget people who sell you overnight successes. Success is compounding. Like, if you do, you will do on top of the one that you have done. You keep building on it. That's why most times, typically, it takes, I'm not saying, don't get me wrong, there are young people who have made it in life, but I'm telling you, if you look at the greater population of the world, I'm even talking about the 6 billion people in the world, people start to have their direction of success from their late 30s to 40s. It's not because life is unfair or something. It's just because success is compounding. If your salary is 100,000 per month, you cannot arrive at 1 million suddenly. Sometimes you would have to go from, my first salary when I left NYSC was 48,000 something. It was supposed to be 50,000, but 48,000 when they take out all the things that they have to take out from it. I remember when my salary was 120, when it became 500, when it became 600, when it became 1.2, like that. So I'm saying success is compounding. Skills, you compound on your skills. This one that I know this year and I have known this one, I have to learn this one. So let's say, for example, you learn A. Okay, it's only A this person knows. This person has now learned B. That means you are now a master of A and B. So if they are looking for someone who can do A, I did there. They are looking for someone who can do B, I did there. If they are looking for someone who can do A and B, you are there. So you have also increased the surface area of your opportunities, and by that, God can bless you. So typically, forget the influence of internet fraud, yahoo, people getting, I know now with the influx of social media, people can make money easily and whatever. But even if you started social media today, it's not today you will hit 10 million views. You're gonna do some work, whether it's for a year or 2 years, I don't know, but I know it's not going to be in 3 months. So whatever it is, you must put in the work. Success is step by step. It is compounding interest, as they say in investments. So I think that's everything about me. If you have questions, I think we could quickly take some questions, and you can also write more questions for me on the WhatsApp group, and I'll be more than happy to respond to them. So thank you, and I would like to get your questions if there are any. Oh, the meeting ends in under a minute. But I think here is my LinkedIn profile. I think I wrote that wrong. We can also connect on LinkedIn if you want to. And I will be more than happy to share the slides with you so that you could use them as references if you need to. So thank you. Any questions, you can write it in the chats on the group, or if there's anyone you want to put in here, let's go for it right away before we are logged out of the meeting. Okay, thank you everyone. I really
Thank you so much, sir. We would like you to please send your LinkedIn to